Welcome to the Final Score Network and the Final Score Podcast, presented by Team Anders Realtors. I'm Andy. He's former NCAA student athlete and co-host.
Ryan, jam! Two-hand monster flush! Off the inbound. Ryan, gam, slam, jam.
Subscribe to us on Podbean, the Apple Podcast Store, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at TheFinalScore35 and TikTok at AGSpartanFan35. Oh, and one more note before we get started.
I'd like to apologize to anyone I've not offended yet. Please be patient. I'll get to you shortly.
Welcome into the 154th edition of the TFS Pod, last one of 2023. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, ate some good food, spent time with family, watched some good sports. It's the sports eclipse right now. A lot of good stuff going on. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I think we talked last Tuesday. Today's Thursday, obviously, a little later than normal because of the holiday, and we'll be back at it probably next Tuesday to go over the playoff and some of the big bowl games, which will be fun. Nevertheless, to the podium, I'll go first. We never talk about the NBA. I'm talking about the NBA, and I know you're going to as well. The Detroit Pistons, 2-1 as of October 28th, have not won a game since. They have now broken, the other night they broke it, the NBA record for most consecutive losses in a single season with 27 losses in a row. That is almost impossible to do in the NBA. Wow, is all I can say. What a joke of a franchise. We thought, remember we did that podcast a couple years ago where it was like, what Detroit sports team, who is the brightest future? We're like, the Pistons, they have young players that are good, saying all this stuff, whatever. They're terrible. They're going to have to completely rebuild. Their coach, they're paying a ton of money. He stinks, Monty Williams. Their GM, Troy Weaver, is an abomination. He's picked terrible people, doesn't get anyone in free agency. Tom Gore's the owner, said something the other day basically saying, oh, we're trying. Screw you, dude. Like, you're a millionaire. If you're not going to even pay attention to this team, sell the team. All these people at the game, sell the team, sell the team, sell the team. Chanting it. Amazing. They should do that. People should protest and just not even go to the freaking games anymore. This is a joke. The Detroit Pistons were once a proud franchise. When I was a young kid, when the NBA was still fun to watch, the Pistons were unbelievable up until I was about 10 years old. And then ever since then, they've been horrible. And now they're even worse. They're worst team in the NBA.
They're even better to watch in the 80s. And something about in the water in Detroit with the 0-16 Lions, the 119-loss Tigers. The Red Wings had a horrible year a few years ago.
Been terrible. Yeah. The Pistons have been really bad since they went to the playoffs in 2018-19. It's just bad. It's really bad. I don't know if it's ever going to get better for them unless they get a new owner, just redo the whole thing, reload. I don't know. Bad. I don't even like the NBA, but this pisses me off as a Michigan person, and I obviously want to see them succeed because they're obviously in Michigan. So
NBA is a mess, and my podium too is I don't give NBA much airtime because frankly the NBA doesn't deserve it. But this caught my attention the other day. Steve Kerr, as liberal as he is, he's actually a really good basketball coach and sometimes says some good things when he doesn't stays away from politics. So in particular, he was lamenting how not the officiating so much, because he said the officials are doing what they're being asked to do by the head office in the NBA. But he was basically lamenting, well, let's say bitching about the fact that defense has been being legislated out of the game of basketball at the NBA level. I 100% agree. And it's 100%, well, 99%. No, it's 1% the reason I don't watch, because 99% why I don't watch is because of LeBron. But anyway, the disappearance of defense is the bane of the NBA. It's why when Olympic years come up, the USA is not feared anymore because they don't play defense. When Coach K, when Bob Knight, when Chuck Daly coached the Olympics teams in the good old days of the NBA, the USA was feared because they played defense. Sure, they could score, but look at Michael Jordan, case in point. Phenomenal scorer, one of the best scorers in NBA history, in basketball history, also an incredible defender. There is nobody in basketball today that you can say is an incredible defender. Maybe Draymond Green if he could keep his head above water and stay out of trouble. But the thing is nobody cares. Here's a case in point. Go watch any play, any highlight of LeBron's, and tell me that he doesn't travel 90+% of the time that he gets the ball. We're not talking about the old step, score. We're talking step, spin, step, 5, 6, 7 step. You may as well just freaking tuck the ball under your arm, stiff arm people, and play rugby, which is what LeBron tries to do. And when he doesn't get his way, he flops like a little MF and baby because that's how he is. But it's disgusting. And it's why the NBA is a dog bleep product. It's why it got absolutely obliterated in the ratings by the NFL the other day. It's horrible. It's maybe the 4th best professional league, and I'm going to dare say that the MLS, which is garbage, is better than the NBA. That's how bad it is for the NBA. Fix your game of basketball because you're going to ruin the game of college basketball in the process.
It's already going that way.
All right, tee up. Actually, a fair amount of things that we could tee up. Sometimes we're at the last minute about this, but how can we not tee up bowl fights? First of all, tee up the fact that there's so many damn bowl games, and ESPN owns like 39 of the 41 so they can air on their dead space. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But the fights, and I'm going to pick on especially Eastern Michigan. You just got run by, 49 points or so?
Yep.
I mean, they got absolutely embarrassed by South Alabama, and then they go start swinging helmets in the middle of South Alabama, minding their own business, celebrating with their fans and their band, singing the alma mater, and a fist fight ensues. And then same thing happened in a different way, but in the Kansas UNLV game the other night too. It's like, come on. I mean, it's almost like, honestly, ESPN is paying for this to happen because it's more eyeballs to watch the games that only the fans of the schools are watching and the sponsors are watching. Yeah, do we have it on the background right now, like the Pop-Tart Bowl because you can eat the mascot or whatever after the game? Yeah, sure, it's on in the background. I have not sat and watched a quarter straight of any bowl game to date. I might watch on January 1st, of course, because those are the traditionals and there's some decent teams, but between opt-outs, between these fights, between 5 and 7 Minnesota teams who did win, but getting into bowl games, it's ridiculous. The days where there were 20 bowl games and a lot of teams got left at home and there was debate and there were games that you wanted to watch because people didn't opt out were great. The bowl fights only make the BS that ESPN peddles in front of us even worse.
Agreed. It's a joke. All right, let's go to around the world. First off, we'll start with some college football, go over some bowl games that have happened, even though we haven't paid. We can just go over some scores and whatnot.
I got guys like Keon Coleman, leading 20 plus players opt-outs. Keon Coleman, I mean, good for him, but I got to cry BS on this. Thank courtesy of Dauber and Chris for sending this. He thanks his Spartan dogs and his Spartan Nation for getting him his start and whatever. Screw you. You didn't even do anything for Michigan State, Coleman. So don't latch on to Michigan State and say, I love you, you're my brothers. No, you have no loyalty to Michigan State and we have no loyalty to you. So forget you. Good luck in the NFL. You're a fun player to watch. You were nothing at Michigan State. I'm glad you made something of yourself at Florida State. All right. I got that out of my way.
Since we last spoke, UTSA won that game against Marshall. Glad we didn't hire Charles Huff as our coach. They lost 7 games in a row. This is a funny. South Florida was a like 5.5 point underdog playing Syracuse, who didn't have a coach. Like half their team transferred. They lost 45-0. Like these bowl games are jokes because all these people opt out.
You got true freshman quarterback playing.
You got like rent-a teams going on. It's the weirdest.
Interim coaches.
Like bowl games used to, like we've talked about this, but bowl games used to be fun. They used to be, a reward for a good season.
You'd go someplace. You'd go someplace out of your backyard.
Yeah, right.
Nobody even travels anymore.
Like South Florida, like I get it. They went to the Boca Raton Bowl, whatever.
Who wants to go to Boston in December? Who wants to go to the Pinstripe Bowl in New York in December? Who wants to go? I mean...
But how about this? Like Troy playing the Birmingham Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's like 10 minutes from Troy. South Alabama played in their home stadium. Memphis is playing in their home stadium. It's like...
Here's the solution. If the real reward is extra practice, just give everybody extra practice in December after school's up. Make it optional if you want. Don't make it that they have to stay around the holidays. I mean, give me a break. Like, that's the only benefit you get out of this. I would love to do, I should do for the pod, a study of how many of these third and fourth string quarterbacks that are getting run in the bowls, how many of those games go under, with the exception of USC last night, whose freshman quarterback threw 6 touchdowns against Louisville.
Well, the thing is, like, that you can't even, if you're a bettor and you're betting these bowl games, almost impossible. Like Georgia Tech, UCF double-digit favorite. Georgia Tech smoked them. Duke was almost a double-digit underdog. They beat Troy by 7. Northern Illinois was an underdog. They beat Arkansas State. James Madison was a favorite over Air Force, and they had coaches that were temps coaching their game. They lost to Air Force by 10. Georgia State beat Utah by 23. South Alabama beat Eastern 59-10. Northwestern, good for Northwestern, 8-5 with that turmoil that happened this offseason. We thought they'd win 2 games. That's crazy. They beat Utah, who was
that's probably the best bowl story of the season.
Yeah, I think so.
And the Big Ten's actually 3-0. Rutgers, Minnesota, and Northwestern.
Coastal smoked San Jose State as an underdog with like half their team not playing. Minnesota 5-7 wins against Bowling Green. Yeah, not a huge win, but whatever. Kansas, another team that was a turnaround, 49-36 over UNLV, who had a pretty good season. Kansas 9-4. Leipold's a really good coach. And then last night, USC, you talked about, smokes Louisville, who was a double-digit favorite over them because, well, USC had half their guys not playing. Crazy. Tulane had like half their team not playing. Got smoked by Virginia Tech. West Virginia smoked North Carolina, who had half their team not playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got
Catch
gross.
a theme here?
It's just gross. And then
there's no reward to bowl games, which is why guys opt out. Yes, Ryan covered it a week or two ago in the pod. You know, you've had some high-profile injuries that happen in bowl games, but folks, injuries can happen in practice. Injuries can happen when you walk out of the football building and step off the curb the wrong way. Like, half of these non-contact injuries are just waiting to happen no matter what anyway. So, like, here's a novel concept. You're getting an education in college, so to speak. Should it really matter? Like, I don't know. If you're going to pay these guys these ungodly amounts, I don't know if I mentioned this on the pod recently or not, but Arch Manning, who played, about a quarter equivalent of football this year, made more this year in NIL than Brock Purdy, who likely is going to lead his team to the Super Bowl and led him to the NFC Championship game last year, makes it a season as an NFL quarterback. It's ridiculous. And until you put some onus back on it, okay, you want to pay these players more? Great. You sign a contract. You're in for the bowl season too. And while we're at it, cut the bowl crap, BOWL crap, ESPN, and stop having so many of them and make it a nice thing to get to and keep them all in the South. Nobody in the North wants to go freeze their ass off in a wet game. The Military Bowl in Annapolis the other day was an absolute deluge. It was probably 45 degrees. Who wants to sit in that? Nobody. Like, even fans for the school don't want to sit in that. The reward, we're sitting here with a Pop-Tart Bowl on, which has been about 1 million bowls. It was the Champ Sports Bowl, Ryan, like 15 years ago when we went? How many years ago was that?
It was
08 or so?
It was a Russell Athletic Bowl for me.
Yeah, I mean, and we went, though, because Michigan State hadn't been to a bowl game in a few years. It was in Orlando. Like, those secondary bowls, fine. Or like in Phoenix or in Southern California or even in Texas. Great. Yeah, you can get crappy weather in the South at this time of the year. I get it. But, like, who wants to go to watch a game at Fenway Park? Fenway Park is for baseball. Yankee Stadium is for baseball. The Holiday Bowl is actually a great bowl game, but Petco Park is for baseball. Like, go play that somewhere in a football stadium. It's like the bowl shenanigans are ridiculous. And it's part of what's ruining football. It's going to make it so with a 12-game playoff next year, the rest of it matters even less. Until you put these people under contract, and if that's what they want, then let's just make it a minor league, and then you force the good players to play. Like, at least Travion Henderson is playing for Ohio State. I don't think Marvin.
I think Buka's playing.
So you get some good guys that are playing, but like Florida State complains about not, being in the playoff, and then none of their guys show up for the Orange Bowl. Gross. Like, it's disgusting. Guys going to the transfer portal before bowl season, and I get it because school starts again in January, and if you're going to leave, you need to go. You don't need an immediate transfer portal. Let it simmer, take the 24-hour rule, multiply that by a few weeks, go away from the holidays, finish up your bowl season, come back, get into spring ball, and if you don't like it then transfer. Then that's fine. Then transfer. Like, knock out this transfer window crap where, You even had guys that were stars for their teams that are in the transfer portal. Western Kentucky had some epic comeback. They were down like 28 points, and their quarterback led them back to this huge comeback
he's out
victory.
Of the portal now.
Oh, he's going to stay? And I mean, I look at that as like, that's just a total showcase game for him to showcase his wares somewhere else. It's like, what good does that do? You're not teaching loyalty at all. No wonder people don't stay with companies for their whole careers anymore, because there's zero loyalty. Nobody's loyal to anybody, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's become a joke.
It is.
I don't really have anything else college football-wise. Go
Yeah,
Bama.
we'll have more to talk about next week, Tuesday or so, when we talk playoff and see what we got left standing. At least some good bowl games this weekend. We'll pay a little bit more attention to some of the games coming up, because they're the classics. They're the ones that should be around, not the I want to lick Mayo off the coach bowl or whatever the damn bowls are, where they spend more time in the booth trying Mayo on things that Mayo should never touch.
Right.
Anyway, spot 2 in Big Ten power rankings are presented by Norris Sports Group. NSG is a boutique agency of experts with 30-plus years experience in sports sponsorships and much more. Learn more about them today at norrissportsgroup.com. Give my boy Bill a call.
All right.
College
hoops?
Big Ten power rankings. I'll quick run through mine. They haven't really changed.
Same, Ivan.
Mine haven't changed much, although I moved Michigan State out of last place because they're in a little bit of a run here. But I got Penn State currently at 14, Michigan at 13, Iowa 12, Rutgers 11, Minnesota 10, Maryland 9, Michigan State 8, Nebraska 7, Ohio State 6, Indiana 5, Northwestern 4, Wisconsin 3, Illinois 2, although that could be changing quickly. We didn't talk about that. And Purdue 1.
We can talk about that.
We'll talk about that now, yeah.
Since we last spoke, we didn't talk about...
Not a whole lot of games in the last...
No, I mean, Providence beat Marquette. Providence is fun to watch at home.
What have they won? Like 39 of their last 40 or something like that? 20 in a row?
Memphis is a surprise team this season.
Butler is actually a very quality win for Michigan State.
Yeah, so far, it's looking good. Duke Baylor was last Wednesday. Duke beat them by 8. Interesting. I think if Michigan State played them now, I think they'd have a better chance. Duke, yeah.
Duke's not that great. At the end of the year, they may be better, but they're not that great.
Yeah, I don't know. Louisville sucks still. FAU, unbelievable,
impressive.
Beat Arizona. They're having a great start.
Could have very easily just wet down their leg after getting to a Final Four last year and just rested on that. Really they're good, and they're one of those preseason high-ranked teams that you're like, no, it's based off last. They're good.
No, they're playing really good.
Arizona, who's really good.
Yeah, no, they've been a solid team so far. Rutgers lost to Mississippi State. Rutgers is 7-4. They're okay. Not great, not terrible. All right, let's get it off the back. So Illinois basketball, I think they're number 11 this week in the AP poll, playing really well. Smoked Missouri, who
in the Border Classic last week.
Was a good team last year. Was a 7 seed in the tournament, and is pretty good to start this season. Illinois' best player, Terrence Shannon Jr., preseason All Big Ten, could be a first-round pick next year. Averaging 21 plus points per game, plays really good defense. Comes out today that he is suspended indefinitely, charged with rape. Nice. What a dumbass. What a horrible person.
In Lawrence, Kansas, of all places.
Yeah,
what the hell goes on in Lawrence, Kansas?
That was the day before Illinois played.
Didn't Kansas kick some guy off for rape?
Yeah, that Arterio Morris guy, their point guard.
Is it something in the water in Lawrence,
yeah,
I guess?
Apparently. He went there for the
good old Larry, Kansas.
Gets in trouble, and he's screwed. I mean, if he gets charged with that, he's going to be in jail for a long time, most likely. Not good. Hopefully it's not true, but this hurts Illinois a lot. He's their primary ball handler. He's their best defender. He's
21.7 points per game.
One of their best rebounders. He's by far their best scorer. Does Illinois have other good guys? Yeah, but it's hard to replace almost 22 points a game. And your lead shot taker, shot maker, creator. That's not good.
I would say it's equivalent to, not the same position, but take Edey off of Purdue. Is Purdue still good? Yeah.
Take Walker
Are they
off
great?
Michigan State?
Yeah, right. Like take Doug McDaniel off Michigan.
Yeah, It's
You know?
I mean, the other guys have to step up. This pushes Illinois from a team that's a top 3 team in the Big Ten to a team that's maybe number 7 or 8.
Right.
They still have talent. Don't get me wrong, but good Lord, I mean, with a guy that does that much for your team is no longer. I mean, it could be the season. It could be I don't know. I mean, it depends on how long the process drags out, really. So we'll see what happens, but not a good for Illinois right now, at all.
And this is not an accusation because, like, you know, accusation's one thing because we know accusations happen a lot that end up being false and guys' careers get ruined. He's been charged. Now, that doesn't mean he's guilty. You're innocent in the United States until proven guilty, much to the chagrin of Democrats everywhere. He gets due process, but due process takes time. Like, it takes time. These cases usually don't get expedited. You know, there's a lot of meticulous work that goes into the investigation. You know, his defense side's going to want time to actually defend him, and this is his life at stake. I mean, you're basically on those sentencing. I don't know why they give you like 637 months, like quantify that to the years. It's basically like a 40 to 50 year prison sentence if he's found guilty of rape at the level charge that he's been charged. He's not going to be back this year. There's no way they're going to expedite that in a few months because this is his life hanging in the balance.
Yeah, not good.
Basketball can wait for him, and yeah, it sucks for Illinois, but like if he truly is innocent and wants to find his way to innocence, it's going to take time. In Illinois, there's no way they can say, well, we're going to let the due process happen. There's no way. The backlash would be unbelievable in today's woke world. And they really shouldn't because he's been charged. Again, different accused, like the Buffalo Bills punter that was accused, or the former Dodgers pitcher that was accused and then found it was just a ruse by the women. That's a whole different story. But charged, that's another ballgame. That, again, not guilty. May well find out in 3, 4, 5 months that he's fine and he's going to go on and have a fruitful career and a fruitful life. And hey, I pray for his sake and the girl's sake that he is innocent, but it doesn't look too good when it comes down to a charge standpoint. So Illinois has got a major gap to fill right as we head into the heart of the season. It's going to be interesting to see.
I don't think I have anything else for basketball. Pistons are up 20 on the Celtics at half on the road.
You almost wonder if they tanked. They were up 14 in that game the other day, and they lost by 6 or whatever. Just to be in the record books for that, they were tied for it, so let's just own it, right? Like, come on. I don't know. Who cares, though? It's the NBA. I would rather watch, and anybody listening knows where I'm going with this, I would rather watch WWE wrestling. That's more real than the NBA. And anybody who knows me knows that I think WWE is akin to dwarf tossing. All right.
That sounds fun.
Used to have that at, Top of the Rock up on Alpine. Chris, I don't know if you remember that, but back in the days. All right.
Oh, and by the way, this is my last thing. I'm replacing on my Big Ten team with...
yes, I did allow Ryan a replacement.
Terrence Shannon has been replaced with, whatever you say, Stephen Crowell.
Nice. All right. Spot 3 hodgepodge mailbag. I got a few things, Ryan. I don't know. I mentioned these to you. I don't know if you did much homework, but a couple things that I at least have. 2023 in review,
good stuff.
2024 sports resolutions. Which stocking stuffer would you choose? As it was a good thing I saw on TikTok. One golf wish for 2024, courtesy of Chris.
Yep.
No Mitchapalooza again this week. Come on, Mitch, you're slacking. Let's go. Got another kid on the way. You got to get these questions going. You need to listen to the podcast. Be ready for sleepless nights. Give us questions that we can ponder and give you good answers to. All right, you want to start with 2023 year in review?
Yeah. Well, you want the good?
Yeah, let's go with the good.
I'm looking at yours, but I mean they're similar. I mean, you start. I guess we can go in order. Georgia blows the door off TCU in the national championship. TCU's that Cinderella. Georgia says no. We repeat. Smoked them. What else happened? In February, Super Bowl, really good Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles.
Funny, came down to a penalty,
and then
which is all that the Chiefs have been bitching about for the last 2 weeks is a penalty that cost them a game. A great play.
March Madness delivered as always. Some great upsets. FDU, believe it, over Purdue. That was pretty crazy. Weirdest Final Four of my lifetime with FAU, San Diego State, UConn, and Miami of all teams. That was weird, but fun. April Masters, John Rahm wins it. Michael Block, PGA. That story was insane. Koepka winning the PGA for the third time. Also pretty insane. What happened in June? I don't know. Lions had an awesome NFL draft in April. Forgot that. What else happened?
Man, I just picked 5 things. I didn't go back.
I'm just thinking back on.
While you're thinking about it, I'll give you mine.
Michigan State made a nice run.
Ryan kind of touched on this one. Another David and Goliath in March Madness. FDU over Purdue. You always got to love to see that. Now the question is, will Purdue pull the Virginia and come back and win the thing a year after? Could happen. Texas Rangers win their first World Series. And what's good about that is they were the only team in Major League Baseball without some sort of Pride Day. I think that's just called Just Desserts. How about the Lions' first conference title in 30 years since I was in college, since I was a sophomore, junior at Michigan State. Crazy. Michael Block, Ryan talked about that at the PGA. I mean, the way that he dunked the hole-in-one on Sunday, that was pretty remarkable. And 16 or something like that. And here's a good for me. The U.S. women's soccer team suffers in the World Cup. And I'll tell you why that's good, because we didn't have to listen to that Megan Rapone, you-know-what, after she just totally botched a penalty kick. And, the, quote, greatest women's team of all time just choked because they were too busy bitching about politics and being woke. So that's why that was good, because they got what they deserved. You got anything else good?
No, not that I can think of, really. Michigan State hired a good coach.
Yeah, that was a good for us. How about the bad? So I'll go first on the bad. Just officiating overall. We've talked about that on the podcast. Terrible. A decent amount. It doesn't matter what sport. The officiating, it's bad. I'm going to say Florida State left out of the college football playoff. I mean, you knew it was going to happen at some point in time. 5 power conferences, 4 spots. I think that was just a bad look for college football. College sports gambling scandals in Iowa in particular, also not a good look. The downfall of gambling becoming legal. This stuff used to go on all the time, I guarantee it, behind the scenes. Now that it's legal, it's a lot easier to track, and guys just lose their heads and they just don't do the right thing. Mm-hmm. Another bad Rahm to the live. Bad for the PGA, bad for golf. Rahm was a likable guy. Bad for him because he lied. He just said that he wouldn't go chase the money, and he thought all the things about live were bad, but now he's towing the party line about how it's growing the game of golf. Bullshit. Here's another bad one for you. It hasn't flared up as much recently, but the talk of a 96-team NCAA tournament, bad. No thank you. No thank you. Do not ruin that for us. And then honorable mention for the bad, college football conference chaos. You knew it was bound to happen. We started talking about it last year first when Texas and Oklahoma bolted, and then, USC, UCLA bolted this year, and then all of a sudden Oregon, Washington, and it's just that's just not good, though. It's not good for the sport. Anything else bad on your side?
No, not that I can think of.
Some gruesome, devastating injuries out there. Bad for quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Achilles.
Yeah, the year of the Achilles. The ugly. Michigan State has to cancel a game in February due to a mass shooting. Now we're going to throw in there, and we'll talk about this more in the Michigan State part, Jeremy Fears gets shot. You have the Michigan cheating and recruiting scandals that are continuing and ongoing. It's been pretty quiet lately, I think, because the CFP wants some sort of a gag order so they can get through their playoffs, and I think the hammer's going to drop, to tell you the truth, because that stuff just doesn't get swept under the rug. The portal and NIL being out of hand, something else that's been a popular topic on the pod. Mel Tugger, baby. And then I'm just going to say LeBron, Megan, and Brittany, all of y'all, ugly, gross, ugly Americans, GTFO. The Pistons record streak, also ugly, 27 games. I mean, you almost have to try to lose 27 games.
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
Especially in the NBA when the stars take every other game off, and the game is made to just do whatever you want to score 160 points in a game.
One of the games last week, the one that tied the record, they put the Jazz had 8 of their 13 players out with injuries or rest. They played like a G League and they lost.
Yeah, that's horrible.
It's embarrassing, man.
Any other uglies for you?
The Mel Tucker one's probably the worst. That was really
for Michigan State fans.
Really
that was super bad. The state of Michigan, it was ugly. Michigan fans can excuse it away all you
Juwan
want.
Howard.
But yeah, between Juwan Howard and then Jim Harbaugh and the cheating scandals and the recruiting scandals, and you can make your excuses and whatever. There's no way you can talk yourselves out of that being ugly, because that is a black mark for Michigan. And I'm telling you, as soon as Michigan season's done, it's going to come right back up, because there's no way that this is over.
Thor hammer up.
Mm-hmm. All right, how about some 2024 sports resolutions, Ryan? First, give yourself one for you, one for me, for yourself. What's a good resolution for yourself for sports?
I don't know. I haven't thought of this. Don't get too
Break
high
80.
or too low.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's going to be hard for you to
Yeah.
do. I think I broke 80 once or so this year. I want to break 80.
I just don't want to be terrible.
I want to break 80 a little
Golf
bit more
wise.
regularly this year. And I want to play more golf than I played last year. We'll see. How about a resolution for Michigan State football?
I want 7-5 or 8-4.
Get back to a bowl game. Definitely
Get
back
some
to a bowl
momentum.
game. How about for Michigan State basketball?
Keep the streak alive. Get to the second
Yeah,
weekend.
find a way. It's
Find
funny
a way.
because it's
Just find
early.
a way.
Early Mitch had asked the question about is Final Four good enough, or is it championship or bust? Hell, I would take a Final Four now the way the season started.
I'd take a tournament.
We'll see after 10 days off. Michigan State plays Indiana State. We'll get into
Good
MSU
team.
in a minute. A good team this weekend. So, and they've had some upheaval. But I would say for Michigan State, yeah, like I still think for me, continuing to bounce back, I think making a deep run in March would be a great resolution. How about for the Lions?
Won a home playoff game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think saying Super Bowl would be a little, outlandish. I think it's possible.
It is. I don't think it's out
possible.
of the realm, but I think.
But I think
baby steps.
let's baby step it. Yeah, we won a conference championship. Now let's win a home playoff game and be competitive in the next round. How about for the Tigers?
Make the playoff.
Yep, I would agree with that.
I think it's very doable.
Yep,
They're worst division in baseball.
Yep. How about for the Red Wings?
Make the playoffs. I think get back
Same
to
thing.
the playoffs. Yeah.
For the Pistons, leave Detroit.
Sell the team. We just get rid of every person that's involved. I think
cease operations. The NBA sucks. Anyway.
No, they got to get a new owner. Someone that's serious.
Yeah,
about
was
it.
the owner fairly new though?
I don't know. He lives in Arizona.
Yeah, I know.
He never
He's a
comes to
Michigan
game.
State guy.
He hasn't been to a Pistons game ever.
It's a tax write-off.
Is exactly
What you need is like a Magic owns part of the Redskins and the Dodgers now, so he's not going to also.
Well, I mean,
pony up to own the
Ishbia would have been
Pistons,
perfect, but
Ishbia would have been perfect. Maybe he'll sell the Suns and buy the Pistons or merge them. Pistons. They can be the Pistons.
Merger.
Yeah, the ABA, NBA, Jackie Moon. Move him to Flint. There you go.
Flint Fairgrounds Coliseum.
Absolutely. All right, which stocking stuffer would you choose? Season tickets for life for your favorite team. Your team wins the Super Bowl this season, but never again. Free pizza and wings for life, or one team of your choice never wins a title ever again.
I'd take it Super Bowl right now from the Lions.
I would say that too.
My second choice would probably be have Michigan never win anything ever again.
I would agree. I already have had season tickets for most of life for Michigan State football. So, and we had free pizza for a year once. I mean, that was great. But like
wings would be good.
That's too much. Let me tell you, we had 2 free pizzas, 2 large pizzas a week.
Of it way
Like you do it because you're playing with the man's money, but like it gets tiresome. So I agree. It's 1 and 1A for me. And I'm not even that big of a Lions fan, although I will say for the first time in my 50-year existence, I got a piece of Lions gear for Christmas. It's the first ever piece of Lions gear I've owned, because when I was a kid, we lived in Indianapolis and our regional NFC game was the Bears. So I was a Bears fan. I had a Bears helmet clock. I had a Walter Payton jersey. I had a Bears helmet. Obviously that didn't stick, and nobody was a huge NFL fan in my family. So I've just always been kind of a sideline Lions fan, but I got a sweatshirt and I wore it out in public. So I guess I'm drinking the Dan Campbell Kool-Aid.
Saw it with my 2 eyes.
All right. This one from Chris. One golf wish for 2024, a hole-in-one, no 3-putts, hit every fairway, golf membership to Augusta, but you have to pay your own travel and accommodations. or 36 holes with Tiger and Charlie with one current family member or friend. But you have to pay your way to get wherever you're going to go, but you get to pick the course.
I'm going to go no 3 putts. No, wait, no, I take it back. That's the only thing I'm good at is putting. I want if I could hit every fairway, I could shoot at worst probably like high 80s every time. I'd take that.
Yeah, true.
Because
I already had a hole in one. My putting hasn't been as great lately.
That's all I'm good at. That's it.
I would. It'd be hard because I'd have to work, but I probably would take the golf membership to Augusta. I'll find my way down there, Delta, and rent a car, or just move down there and work remote for the season.
True that.
I'd go do that. That's what I would do. Chris, you didn't say what you would do, I don't think, in the text, so you're going to have to text me and tell me what when you send us some more questions for the pod, because you come up with some good stuff. All right, anything else, mailbag, hodgepodge from you?
Nothing else.
Mitchapalooza, we need to hear from you. All right, now a word from our presenting sponsor. Team Anders Realty will help you find the home that fits your wants and needs, and they make the process simple and fun along the way. And when you're a customer, simple and fun things like they give you a free Christmas tree or a wreath every year, and they give you a free planter in May. So they're a great group to do business with. They have served thousands of clients for 30 plus years in the West Michigan area and are here to serve you today. Learn more at teamanders.com. All right, spot number 4, state of MSU, hoops and football. Some good, some bad.
Do football first?
Yeah, let's do football first.
Good signing day last week. Got some guys to flip.
Yeah, a couple quarterbacks, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? With the time that staff has had to put this together, pretty solid recruiting class. We'll take it. Good for a first one. 2025, I think, will be better. Or I guess, 2025 high school class.
2 still open coaching spots, which is interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do.
You kind of wonder if that means these are guys like on playoff squads that he's looking at potentially.
Bowl, waiting for bowl
teams. Yeah,
some transfers coming in. Love it.
Some good returnees.
Gino Vandermark's coming back.
Harmon's a big one.
Coming back. Rumor that Winmon's going to come back. Some solid guys, which I'm really happy about. Some guys that are good young players that I think once they get coached up,
I'd still like to see us go out and get
really
a veteran QB transfer, maybe a grad transfer. I mean, Childs is the heir apparent, no question.
Get like a
Russo type,
yes.
right? Like a guy that means you don't have to play your 2 true freshmen that come in next year.
Yes,
they can
get their run.
A guy that knows that he's going to compete, likely be the second string, but have a chance because guys get hurt, right? So
happens.
I'd like to see that happen. I bet you that's going to be kind of a push coming out of spring more than anything. Probably like a 60-year guy type of thing.
Which is fine.
Yep.
Which is fine. But I'm happy with what's going on in East Lansing for football. A lot better than it was 3 months ago.
Harlan Barnett officially not going to come back.
Yeah.
Whether that was his choice, you can read it. The way you read it depends on what you read, but some made it sound like his choice, some made it sound like Smith's choice, some made it sound like it was mutual. I think it was definitely on the table. I think, HB probably didn't necessarily like the fact that he was only going to coach safeties and, didn't want to come back, and that's okay. I wish him well. He did the best he could with the crappy hand he was dealt. It will be interesting because what do we have left? We have a safeties coach and a special teams coach, right? Like that's what's left. And we all know special teams is important. Our kicker and our punter are back, which is good. It'll be interesting to see now how he coaches these guys up. A good recruiting class. I mean, they steadily climbed. Again, I don't read much into the rankings, but they were in the 70s to begin with, and I think they ended up in the low 30s.
Yeah.
And they still have the February signing period, so they'll go out and get a couple more guys.
Yeah, they're trying to get a linebacker still from
transfer portal is going to get quiet now.
Probably get a couple more guys in,
but you got this really good running back out of Toledo. That's basically reason he's begging.
No, he already trimmed his list. It's FSU.
Well, he wouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't. Michigan State has got a loaded running back.
Michigan's not going to take him.
No.
But we're doing well.
An odd one for you out of the transfer portal. Michigan State has 3 long snappers now because they got 2 transfer long snappers. One from Central Michigan, who's actually a preferred walk-on, and one from James Madison, in addition to a decent one that they had this year. So I don't know. Maybe the new coaching staff likes long snappers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a long snapper fetish, apparently.
Maybe every part of the kicking game gets its own long snapper. I don't know how that goes.
Our special teams should be really good. An all-American freshman punter and a guy that can hit 60-yard field goals and kick everything out of the back of the end zone. Mm-hmm. We'll take it.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Just don't return a kick ever again.
No, unless we find some.
And maybe that Barbarian guy can become a punt returner. That'd be good.
That would be cool. All right, Michigan State basketball. Been off since the 21st. So was it the 21st?
Yeah, last Thursday. I mean, they absolutely destroyed
Stony Brook. Yeah, made mincemeat of them. Mm-hmm. Playing well.
Aikens had a career game.
Connected well. Jackson Kohler's coming back next week. That's big. Obviously, you talk a little about Jeremy Fears. Thank God he's alive. Poor kid.
We're talking like
he's a really good kid.
Centimeters left or right, and you sever a femoral artery or you shatter his femur, and his career's over.
Freak accident. His life could have been over.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they catch the guy, but it's Illinois, and it's probably one of the most lawless states there is in the union. Given the way that state's run, it's just disgusting that a kid can go, and some people will be like, "Oh, what was he doing out at 3:30?" He was hanging out with some friends
from high school,
and not gang banging, not doing anything to get in trouble. And he was shot, and a girl was shot, and he helped calm and get the girl in a good state before he worried about himself, which tells me about the leader that he is. So I don't expect him to be back this year. I hope, but. He's back at Michigan State. He's going to see Michigan State specialists. It's iffy, right? Like it went into his bone, so there's got to be obviously fracture there. It's going to take some time to heal, and if he has to sit this year, the one thing that I will say that I hope that the NCAA does not bury their head up their ass is that they give this kid an automatic another year. He played 12 games. He clearly was going to play the whole season. I get it, barring any other injury that could happen. This is an extenuating circumstance. You give the kid, he's probably not going to be around for 4 more full years anyway after this year, but like you give the kid the option, just like you gave COVID years, because this is nothing that he did wrong.
Right.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time and lucky to be alive. So don't punish him by saying, well, sorry, you burned your red shirt.
Right. Yeah, changed Michigan rotation a little bit. I think you'll see a little more Walker.
Too bad because he had 10 assists in that last game. I mean, it was a cupcake really game, but still, 10 assists. I think no turnovers or 1 turnover. He'd been playing really well lately. He's a good defender.
I think you see Walker handle the ball a little more as in the backup role. Because I think Holloman's better off the ball, to be honest with you. He's playing really well.
Holloman's really, really become a good shooter for Michigan State. He's probably actually the guy, aside from Walker, that I most want to take a 3 if Michigan State needs to take a 3.
Yeah, I agree.
And hopefully the Aikens that we saw, stays there because he started to show what he can do. I do think it's going to mean a little bit more PT for Carr, which I really like because he does some of the little things that I think Michigan State basketball needs to win. He defends and he runs and he'll rebound. Those are the 3 things that we know are the recipe for Michigan State success. So
yeah, that'd be good. I don't really have anything else. Indiana State's going to be a tough game on Saturday. Hope they can get it done. That's a 11-1 quad 1 victory for Michigan State, which is crazy to say.
Michigan State doesn't get very many quad 1 games at home.
No, and this is it's going to be
out of conference.
It's going to be a good challenge for them. A unique style of play, but hopefully we can get it done. Should be fun. We'll be there, which is even better.
All right, spot number 5, NFL. I mean, first. Hats off to the Lions. First conference championship
did it, baby.
In 30 years.
Broke the curse.
Minnesota hung tough with them. It wasn't the Lions' best game defensively, but I think that they did some good things. Now, hey, number 1 seed is not out of the question because San Fran lost.
Chance, but
they got the Cowboys on the road. Cowboys haven't lost.
Out and hope some stuff happens.
But interesting. So regardless, no worse than a 3 seed. They're guaranteed a home playoff game for the first time since 92, 93. It's going to be a pretty epic scene. that was really good to see. The NFL is just like crazy stuff happening. The Dolphins, they're looking good. They have a huge game with the Ravens, who took it to San Fran the other night. So, that's a de facto elimination game for the 1 seed there. Let's see what else.
It's hilarious that the Chiefs are so bad right now.
I saw a great stat.
Kelsey,
Kelsey's all about Hickeys, Bud Light, Schleppen Pfizer, and whatever, and all the his podcast, and then dating Taylor Swift, and in that whole realm, he's had 1 touchdown catch.
He's doing terrible. And he's chucking his helmet. Mahomes.
I don't even know what he threw his helmet about. It was on the fake punt, because he didn't get the ball. I mean, Pittsburgh down to Mason Rudolph, they smoked Cincinnati.
What the hell happened there?
The Browns actually mathematically still have a shot at the number 1 seed, which is crazy. What was that stat you gave, Ryan? The Browns and the Lions have won more combined games than they have in 70 years or something like that.
Yeah,
what was the stat?
Crazy.
It was some
so it's like the 50s.
Craziness.
Speaking of the Browns, are up 20-7 right now.
The NFC South, the NFC South is kind of garbage, but Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, they're all in play.
All still there.
Green Bay still somehow alive.
I saw something that said that there are 24 teams still alive for the playoffs. This is the most since 2008, this deep into the season, alive.
Yeah, let's look at standings wise. You got Miami, Baltimore clinched at 11-4 and 12-3.
Give you a playoff picture if you want.
And then you got Jacksonville and Indy are tied in the South, and Houston. So that's a 3-way tie in the South, and I think a couple of those teams play each other.
Yeah.
And then even in the West, Kansas City's got a pretty good stranglehold on it at 9-6, but Raiders and the Broncos, who just benched Russell Wilson, aren't out of it yet.
They will be, but.
And then in the NFC, you got Philly and Dallas have already clinched. Philly in the lead in that division. Obviously the Lions have clinched. Tampa Bay is 8-7, but Atlanta and New Orleans are right there at 7-8, and then San Francisco's clinched at 11-4.
The Rams and Seahawks.
Yeah, so you're looking at in the AFC currently, your wild card would be,
for who? The NFC. AFC wild cards right now would be Cleveland, Buffalo, Indianapolis as of today, with Houston, Pitt, and Cincinnati. I think those are the 3 most logical. But then you said Raiders and
Denver are still there.
And these teams are still playing each other.
Then you got Dallas, Rams, Seattle.
Then the Vikings are next. Then
you got 4 teams at 7-8.
It's a pseudo elimination game on Sunday between Green Bay and the Vikings. Mm-hmm. Saints are still alive. The Bears technically are still alive. I think
they need a miracle.
They play Atlanta, so that's kind of an elimination game as well. They would have to win. The Bears have to win out and have some stuff happen in order to get there. But this is gonna be a fun last couple weeks of the season. Yeah. This has been a good NFL season. Fun. How about the Raiders? I think they should hire that guy.
Cleveland's up 20-7 on the Jets.
Yeah, Flacco's been balling. What about he's like 38?
His over/under today for yards was 220, and he already has 147.
He's been
early in the second quarter.
He has been balling. Good for him. He's old too.
And Njoku's got 5 catches for 132 yards.
Holy smokes.
And he didn't score a touchdown though.
Wow, that's a lot of yards.
Brees Hall got a touchdown, though. That's good. Receiving touchdowns.
That's good. The Jets
needed that.
No, this has been a fun NFL season. Can't wait to see what happens. I think the playoffs are going to be wild.
Yeah, I think so, too. I don't at the beginning...
think it's a clear-cut best team.
Either way, AFC or NFC.
I think the Ravens are kind of the team to beat right now, but who knows?
Yeah, but you just never know. It's matchups.
Oh, we got a winner. Kansas State wins the Pop-Tart Bowl. They're going to eat this guy on TV.
I don't know. They dumped the mayo on people.
Cannibalize him.
Yeah, look, Oklahoma quarterback making first collegiate start. At least they don't blow their red shirt. Well, Kansas State's quarterback was like the number 3 dual threat. He led them to a win. So
he played a lot this season. But all right, that's I don't have anything else NFL wise. If you don't,
nope.
We can move on to sprints. I saw this question on Twitter, and I thought it was awesome. What athlete deserves a career do-over?
Oh, man. in any sport at any level,
any sport.
career do-over, like somebody that probably had like a devastating
Injury,
early.
bad luck with teams.
You go first.
I said Derrick Rose. I think he could have been one of the best point guards ever, and he tore his knee up so bad that he's never the same player.
Yeah, another one in that vein, Jay Williams. For the Bulls, it was that way.
Len Bias.
I'll go.
Drugs.
Len Bias. I'll go to one from Michigan State. Josh Langford.
Yeah, he probably could have been an NBA guy.
Yeah,
that's sad.
Yeah.
Who's your NFL Coach of the Year?
Dan Campbell.
I think so.
I mean, the Lions were predicted to do something, which is usually the death knell for a team from Detroit, and for them to actually deliver in the way that they have, and they do it on the road, they do it at home, they do it, they grind them, they outscore people. He's done a brilliant job. He really has.
He said from the beginning, we're going to do this the right way. I'm going to build this team. It might not be pretty all the time. And he said at the beginning of the season, like, this journey we're going to get, like, this is what we're going to do. He's accomplished these things, which is awesome to see. I love it. And
I'm sorry, but you can't give it to somebody who wears freaking capri pants.
McDaniel.
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans would probably be my second choice. He's turned the Texans around pretty good.
Nobody thought the Texans would do anything with a rookie quarterback.
This one kind of goes off our conversation a little earlier. Will bowl games cease to exist sooner rather than later? I say yes.
I think so. If things don't change in college football in general, I think there's always going to be an appetite for some. I think the traditionalists like us would love to see the bowl games probably will, continue to be a part of the playoffs and kind of take those second tier bowl games. But if they don't wring their hands of the tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 5 bowl games, they're going to cease to exist because they're just money pits. Nobody's at these games. They're not cheap trips. We did them. We did 2 Citrus Bowls. We did a Champ Sports Bowl. The tickets aren't cheap.
Yeah, they're expensive.
The packages aren't cheap. They're fun. But then when you go to Fenway or you go to Pinstripe or whatever, like those aren't marquee places to go. You want to go to Miami or Tampa or Orlando or Phoenix or Pasadena. You don't want to go to Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, you don't want to go to
You don't want to go.
Alabama.
I'm sorry, you don't want to go to Detroit for the whatever Cherry Bowl, Motor City Bowl, Quick Lane Bowl, Little Caesars Bowl, whatever it is these days. I think it's going to be a matter of time, and I think when it's going to happen is when there's going to be a natural split where the Power Four now break off and become their own thing, and then maybe bowl games stick with some of the mid-tier, that new Division 1 AA, maybe. But yeah, something's going to change.
Crazy. I just thought of this. I forgot to say this earlier. Jalen Milroe in the press conference today said that Bill O'Brien wanted him to change positions, and now look at him.
Sheesh. Yeah, he could have been a hell of a linebacker with his size.
He's an idiot, though. He's going to be a...
Well, they benched him early in the year, and clearly they got his attention. I don't know if that was an attention grabber or whatever, but...
Yeah, he's
a
stud.
Was that Sprint 4?
No, last one. I just was saying that. New Year's resolution in general.
New Year's resolution in general. That's a good one. I think I need to... everybody always says weight loss. I'd like to lose those last 5, 6, 7 pounds just and hold it. So that's always just kind of there. But and it's going to be, this one's a hard one for me because I just don't like to do it. But I'd like to read more.
Good one. Mine's I think church at least 2 times a month and drink more water on a daily basis. Need that.
That's a good one too.
Don't have any other ones.
Hey, we forgot to shout out too JG and the Forso Central Rangers, my alma mater.
Let's go, baby.
His alma mater, doing well. Nice little feature on 13 on your side here.
Congrats.
In GR.
Keep them rolling, man.
Ken, you raised a good one. Good job.
Runs in the blood. All right, that is 154 of these. We appreciate you guys listening. Let us know any questions you might have for mailbag. Happy New Year to all who listen. We will talk to you in 2024. That's freaking crazy to say, man.
Everybody stay safe.
I remember when it was 2012 and we thought that the world was going to end.
2012. Oh, how about 1999 to 2000?
Well, I don't remember that.
You were just
an infant.
A little wee one.
Yep.
All right, in honor of Coach Dan Campbell and the Lions reaching a key milestone, the quote for the week. We're going to kick you in the teeth. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way, we're going to bite a kneecap off.